And welcome to the show. I'm so glad you tuned in today. Today we have with us Nick Gromyko, the Godfather himself from InterNACHI. Nick, how you doing, my man?
I'm doing really well.
Thanks. It's good, man. Yeah, it's good to connect with you again. We did an episode a couple of years ago, I think, and you had other businesses, other things going on, and I know this. I think a lot of people know this. You've built a significant amount of wealth over your lifespan over the last 25 years or so. What are some of the avenues that you had for generating money?
Well, I mean, I had a lot of advantages, in getting rich. I was born poor.
That is an advantage. Yeah.
It's a big advantage. I was born to, coal mining family and outside of Pittsburgh and inherited no money at all.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not very smart. I dropped out of high school. And so I started with nothing,
mm-hmm.
and went from there. So that's an advantage, I would say, being hungry, literally hungry at more than one point.
It puts a chip on your shoulder. It puts a little drive inside of you.
And then when I went belly up on, I've been broke 3 times. I went belly up. So I probably know more about how to lose money than to make it.
It's funny. Everybody I talk to that has done well in life, they have that story.
So I lost everything. And then I moved to the Philadelphia area, and I asked myself, well, what could I do with just a pen and a paper? And this is, 25, 30 years ago. This is before the internet, really almost just before digital cameras.
Wow.
You can imagine that. And I said, well, home inspections doesn't require a lot of upstart capital, and I understood the construction business at that point. I was been a contractor all my life. So, we went into the inspection business, and then they came out with digital cameras, and we started incorporating that into Word documents.
Mm-hmm.
Created the first, photo generated, an inspection report that had photos in it of the actual inspection report. And then we used, Word's autocorrect systems where we could enter an odd word and it comes up a whole narrative paragraph associated with it. So that made it speed up
mm-hmm.
our report writing ability. And then we did what we think is the first on-site inspection. So you can imagine real estate agents on the main line outside of Philly going from a written checklist report that came in the mail a few days later to our company, Peach Inspections, where we had photos of the actual property in the report. That was astonishing to most real estate agents at the time, and generated the report on site. So it just changed everything. So we grew really quickly from
what years was that happening? That you
it was early 90s, I guess, would be something like that.
So in the 90s, you had on-site reporting with photos in the report.
Yeah, using Word.
Oh yeah, that's unheard of.
Cameras.
Yeah.
But then that grew our company really big. I mean, within a few months, we had 4 crews running.
Mm-hmm.
Just dominated really well. And then I met, my partner, Chris Morrell, business partner, I should say.
Got to clarify these days. Yeah.
Not that there's anything wrong with that, but and we eventually became CEO of InterNACHI. He's CEO of InterNACHI today. But he was only 15, and he wrote a piece of software for me, the first piece of software to do water testing and radon testing, where I could enter a bunch of information and out comes a gorgeous report, right?
Nice.
And then when the internet came along, I dropped everything. I dropped my real estate business. I was a top producing real estate agent at RE/MAX for many years. And I was running the home inspection business as well. And I just dropped everything, and I knew I could build InterNACHI up. We'd started InterNACHI earlier, just sort of locally. Mm-hmm. And I knew I could build that up into a monster when I started reading what the internet was going to allow me to do, online videos and online courses and and stuff like this. And so I left, moved to Colorado, and really gave InterNACHI my all, at that point I had amassed, over $1 million in real estate. So I put it all into InterNACHI, tried to get it to go. And then, Joe Ferry was my attorney at the time, was my personal attorney. He's now a big attorney in the industry.
Yep.
He calculated something like that we were losing, every, so much money on every member that we brought in because we had to provide them membership benefits but that it would turn around in about 8 years. I'm like, oh my God, 8 years. I got to go, only putting.
That's a really long ROI.
Yeah. He's a mathematician and, he was wrong. It took 11 years. For 11 years, it just swallowed money. And then,
wow. I didn't realize that.
Yeah. So, whenever I see these pictures of Jeff Bezos, working at his little desk, he went through the same experience. I think he went 11 years with no money.
Yeah. He drove that old rusted out Honda.
Not making a penny,
Yeah. Yeah. You see those videos and those pictures of him in his old rusted out car. Yeah, and he looks all
desk, I'm like, that guy did 10, 11 years too.
He did his time for sure, man.
He did much better than me, but he did it, so it was hard because it's one of those things like, you can see the progress going. So you don't want to quit now. I'm a person who doesn't want to dig a hole. If I start digging a hole and I realize it's not going anywhere, I don't mind getting out. Yeah. I'm not tied to any philosophy at all.
Oh, I'm the same way. Yeah.
Doesn't make money, I'm out. But I could see that, and Joe Ferry was showing me that on, the mathematically, this thing's going to turn around if you just hang in there. But, 11 years was a long time to hang in, and it turned around and it just boomed.
Yeah.
And InterNACHI went everywhere. Then we formed what I call now, which is the conglomerate of nonprofit and for-profit organizations all around InterNACHI. And that whole conglomerate did 53 million in 2024. So
heck yeah, that turned around.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
That did pretty good. But that's not where you made your money, though.
No, that didn't make any money. I mean, I got paid, but that didn't make the big.
No, but you built a significant amount of wealth in your life, and people think, oh, InterNACHI, maybe your home inspection company, but where did it really come from? Like, what was like your big contributing businesses?
Well, I mean, I'd gotten rich a couple of times in life. Like I said, I had $1 million in cash when I left the real estate business at RE/MAX, which wasn't that hard to accumulate. I was on the main line. My average sale was $900,000. So,
well, in the 90s.
Yeah.
That's big.
And we were pulling down 6-7% back then.
Right.
You know what I mean? And I didn't have to split it with a broker. I'm at RE/MAX. So I'm just paying for my corner office $2,000 a month. You understand?
Right. Yep.
Commission checks were enormous, sometimes hundreds of thousands of dollars.
Right.
And, I have a $2,000 bill to RE/MAX. I mean, it's just like, I couldn't believe it. I was getting embarrassed. I couldn't believe they were letting me do it.
You're going to let me do this?
Yeah, wow. I lost it all. I went to Colorado up in the mountains and lost.
Lost it all.
But, lasted barely. It didn't actually last 11 years. I went completely down, and then everything started turning around. The construction business really took off at that point. The trouble with moving somewhere out of state, 1,000 miles away from where you were is you lose your reputation.
Yep. And your network of people.
Yeah. You just lost all that. So I thought, really? No, I'll just go to Colorado and start my construction business and everybody will love me there. That's not true at all.
Wow.
No truth to that. You lost everything. You lost your reputation and your name brand, right? So I had to start over. And I built that up and I got into the steel business a little bit. So I started doing bridges and things like that. So the steel business and the construction business, which I still run the construction company, but I don't do any steel work anymore. I sold that company earlier this year. And I'm out of steel altogether. I don't have any steel dust anywhere anymore. It's nice and clean everywhere. All my buildings are nice and clean because I hate that steel business. I mean, it's literally a dirty business.
Oh, it's very dirty. Yeah, absolutely. And the steel dust is nasty, man. You get that stuff in your nose and in your lungs, and you got to be real careful with that stuff. It'll get you.
But with the construction business, I always had my own employees. I didn't use subcontractors. So because I had my own employees, I have to keep them busy. I mean, I don't know if anybody's in a multi-inspector firm owner, but you feel obligated to keep these people working, right?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. As a business owner, you have that responsibility on your shoulders, right?
So what I was doing is I was taking the profits from the construction company and I said, look, if you're slow, if we don't have a job, we need space. I was buying buildings, commercial buildings and residential homes that needed work. And then as soon as we're out of work, rather to keep efficiency going and keep my people employed, I would move them to one of those projects.
Yeah.
And they would rehab it or they would build it, some new construction as well. And, over 10 years, we ended up with 55 properties on the side that it was just like side work.
Right.
So, and now those 55 properties were 30 million. So,
yep. As you just clicking along, adding another one. Yeah.
The Bible says, you help others and it'll come back to you. It was one of those things where I was just doing these projects. I didn't even think they were worth anything. I was doing them so that I could keep my employees.
Right.
I was happy breaking even if I could, or just spending a little money just to keep them going because the next project was coming and I needed those employees. I couldn't.
Yeah. You don't want them to quit. Like you need them
either, but I don't want them, and I don't want them crying either. And I don't want them, not having work. So, by filling all the gaps with these, construction projects that I kept, I never sold them. I didn't sell anything.
Yeah.
I ended up with a big real estate portfolio.
That's awesome. So you got a bunch of real estate portfolio. What's this steel company? Because you've mentioned it in passing a couple of times. Every time I've mentioned you, we've talked a little bit. But what is you building bridges? Is that right?
Yeah, I'll build anything. I just showed you so I have a pile of trim, a big truckload of trim just came. I showed you just before. Yep. I'm going to run it through this jointer.
Right.
Threads are all active forever rather than a Facebook, which is sort of a, what's up today kind of a thing.
Correct. Yeah. I see that.
Everything else gets buried. You know what I mean?
Yeah. One thing I've noticed about this industry go ahead.
InterNACHI Forum's about to reach almost 3 million posts.
Wow.
So from about 110,000 registered inspectors who've registered to use the board over the years. So 3 million posts is a lot of posts. And
that's a lot.
A big message board, and it's really good for home inspectors to go there. It's where everything is.
Well, yeah, and you can search it, and so even if it's something happened 5 years ago, you can search it. It pops up when you're in there, and that's such a valuable tool for inspectors.
And always busy. There's always people online, and a lot of people helpful online. So you can always be on an inspection site, and in our members only section, we have an emergency forum. So if you're on an inspection, let's say and you see something that you've never seen before, you can take a picture of it, upload it real quick. And we have, experts and members and stuff who are going to help you with that to explain what you're looking at instantly while you're on an inspection. And that's a very useful tool for multi-inspector firms who have, inspectors who maybe aren't as experienced as others.
Yep.
They come along something they've never seen before. They can use the InterNACHI forum to get the right narrative to describe it.
I love that.
Almost in live time instantly. So
that's such a fantastic tool. So I run a multi-inspector company, and we have an internal group chat within our team of the new guys will post something, a picture like a WTF, and then people jump in, and other inspectors are like, no, that's what this is, and so we do a little, like a mini version of that inside of my own company with my own guys. But then, but having a national or global rather, place to throw that in is incredible. I
pay a few experts to hang out there too, like electricians and plumbers. If they can help somebody quickly, they get paid, for that. So that they're, licensed electricians, master electricians and stuff.
That's awesome. Yeah.
Really jumping to give you the right answer,
Yeah. What a great resource. And so I've seen this in this industry now, where a lot of times you have a technician that starts up doing home inspections, and that technician mindset, as his business starts to grow, he starts making a little bit of money. Sometimes they take the path like I chose to go multi-inspector and have a bunch of guys and now gals and my team running around inspecting. But but what happens now is you have a technician who, a lot of times blue collar, a lot of times not coming from a lot of resources, starts making some money. They start making some money, and in their mind is a significant change. And now you start making money, right? The temptation is that when your money goes up, the temptation is to increase your lifestyle up to your money level. And all of a sudden you can be a paycheck to paycheck millionaire because you're spending as much as you're making. But there's a problem in that where you're not generating wealth if you are not having margin to be able to generate wealth with, right? And sometimes guys you get in this industry, they don't have the financial training and whatnot. And kind of like you talked about coming from the ground up on this thing. So like for the guys that are starting to make some money, how do you generate wealth out of that? And how do you start to save that, preserve that, hedge against inflation? You're a guy that's done very well with that stuff. Come on. Like, I got to know what's the secret?
All men, when they have money, want to spend it. That's not.
Yeah. There's always a toy. There's always a car I want to buy or something.
Human beings, right? So the trick I did is I got into the heavy equipment business. And with the heavy equipment business, instead of buying, a Lamborghini, I would buy a telehandler. Now, it's actually initially not as exciting. I mean, who wants a telehandler? They could have a Lamborghini. But in the long run, it's much better because the telehandler never gets old. You can always use it. It's always fun, or a backhoe, or a dozer or something, So for me, the way I was able to, satisfy my desire to spend money when I had it on toys is I bought toys that made more money.
So you bought a backhoe. Would you rent that out, or would you just use that to go do projects?
Yeah, we use it. We don't rent them. But I have a couple of toys, motorcycles and ATVs, but I didn't go crazy.
Okay.
So that was helpful to me because I could use that, the synergy of, there's a lot of synergy in my businesses. Mm-hmm. So I could always use that heavy equipment for other things. And I still get to bring it into the garage and power wash it and polish it. So just like a Lamborghini, that's how I took care of it. But if you start piling up money, you have to look at, the next thing, if you're lucky enough to figure out how to make money, the next thing is how to have nobody come along and take it. And probably the biggest, problem we have is government. So government takes your money in two ways. One, it taxes it, and then one, it debases your currency. So, as we know, right? So you go to the grocery store right now and it's crazy, right? It's
crazy. You can't walk out of a basic grocery store for less than $100.
Rich. And I'm like, what? You got to be kidding me. $400 for this buggy full of groceries. You got to be out of your mind,
Crazy, huh? It's gotten out of control. Out of control.
Yeah. So, and that's post-tax dollars. So the money, so that grocery,
you got tax on it, and now you're getting,
cost you $500. You know what I mean?
Right.
You think about it, and it's the same group that's taking that money, right? The government, because it spends so much, has to fund that spending through the Federal Reserve printing dollars and the basis your currency. And so that it's really not the groceries going up, it's so much as that the value of your dollar, your purchasing power, which has lost 99% of it in the past 100 years, 80% of it since I've been alive, keeps going down. I mean, Motel 6 was incorporated, I think near my birthday, about the same, certainly in the same year. And the word Motel 6 comes from the fact that it was $6.
Wow.
In a motel room. Now, it's 20 times that?
Yeah.
Well, is the room 20 times bigger? No. What happened? Right. What happened? It's that your purchasing power of your dollar went down. And it goes down every day. It really went down under Biden, but it still goes down under Trump. I mean,
it is. It's still going down. Inflation they've slowed it a little bit, but it was out of control during Biden's administration. That and the COVID and the overspend, all that, bam.
And I don't even blame him. The more debt we run, the more money we have to print, and the more inflation's not going away. That's why I keep sending my message board to buy silver and gold for the past years and years. I've been pleading with my inspectors to invest in silver and gold, and and that's because I'm on a macro level. We know that inflation is not going away ever.
Right.
It's just not. It's the dollar's going to zero.
It is. Well, and so, okay. So then you buy an investment like silver gold, and I'm going to chime in because I'm a big advocate of this as well. And so I have a bunch of silver and gold myself. And so then you go, oh, the price of gold was what, $1,200 a few years ago. It's up to 30 something hundred now as we speak today, 3,400. I haven't looked in the last week or two, but it's gone up in value. And they're like, oh, is gold really going up in value? No, gold is the same. Our dollar is going down in value.
So silver and gold have the disadvantage that it doesn't spin off any return.
Right.
So what it is just a straight hedge against inflation. And it helps for inspectors who are scared not to have liquid assets on hand. So, some people like to have money in the bank, they say, right? No matter how rich they get, they want money in the bank so that they have some liquidity twice, because they have to place the monitor and pick it up. And during that time, while the guys at work, I actually did the 2 inspections. So I did two home inspections on the property myself, given about a half an hour each time that I could drag my radon guy out to stay there until we can end the real estate agent while he's doing a radon test.
Nice. So you got to at least get your eyeballs in there for a few minutes.
And then of course there's outs in the agreement, HOA outs and other ways of getting out if you don't like it. But I had to do what I had to do on that one because it was just a messed up deal. But nobody else would buy it because it's a messed up deal. So I came in and I got a really great deal, probably something like, well under cost to build.
That's awesome. Yeah, and that's one you're just going to buy, rehab it, and rent it, right?
Shout out to Axiom for their guys. They always do my radon test, and they know what I'm up to. They take their time, and I run around the house real quick. See, I'm at a disadvantage too because people look me up. So the seller looks me up. So this guy's the inspection something of the world.
Right, the Godfather of home inspection or something.
His offer, he's just gonna tear us up. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So I have to do this tricky thing where I go in with just a radon test and no home inspection to ease their mind. But then I do the home inspection anyway.
Right.
I mean, I just do it all in my head. It's just for me, so I don't have to generate a report for myself.
Well, yeah, you just get to walk through and be like, okay, HVAC, replace or repair, or it's fine, And you just do a little quick click. Okay, what are my big things here? And then,
I'll party purchase probably and get around the problem of my name.
Yeah. So I have a little bit of the mini version of that. I'm in New Mexico. And so my company is the biggest one in the state for home inspection. And so I just recently bought a house this year for myself, a primary residence for myself. And so, I put in an offer. I was able to get this thing, in my opinion, way below market value, but I waived all inspections. I waived appraisals. I waived everything. I was like, clean deal, no contingencies, whatever.
Yeah, I mean,
the cleanest deal possible, right? And I just walked through and did it myself in my head. Walked through, analyzed it real quick. I know what I'm getting myself into.
That listing agents go back to the seller and like, this guy's, maybe let's just look at this other deal. These two offers because this guy's like, he's the big inspector in town. He's gonna really tear us up, But that's the opposite, probably what you're doing.
That's the opposite of what I did. I walked through the house. I was like, I know exactly what I'm looking at here, and I just
over this nonsense,
Yeah, like
it either makes sense or it doesn't. So
yeah, and for me it was great. I think I probably got it 150,000 below market value because of some certain situations in the house, But I put in the cleanest offer possible, waived everything, and they took it because they're like, no headaches, no repairs, as is, where is. I mean,
my town, I have no chance of if they think I'm in a deal, I have no chance of getting that offer accepted.
Right,
because they know I'm lowballing and they know I'm an inspector.
Right.
It scares sellers. What are you going to do? It's good and bad and everything.
It's funny because you're an inspector. I guess what they think you're going to come back at on the due diligence window and just run them through the cheese shredder.
I say, no way. I looked you up. He just said, no way. I looked you up. He goes, you're going to just pick this house apart. I'm like,
what do you do? Do you normally come back and renegotiate on the end of due diligence period, or do you just take it as is, where is?
I take it as is, where is.
That's what I do too, man. When I'm buying properties, I take it exactly as is.
Yeah, I'm looking at location. I'm looking at the school district. I'm looking at the roads, the cul-de-sac, the open space behind the thing. I mean, even a roof is not going to probably sway me on the deal. Like my deals are, I know I'm up $100,000 on this deal, buying this property.
Mm-hmm.
But there's almost nothing that's going to happen in that house where I'm going to run at that point. Like if I go in there and I see something really horrible, I'm not going to mess up the deal.
Right.
Because I'm so far up at that point,
Mm-hmm.
And the biggest problems that we have out here is there's expansive soil. So people build homes on crawl spaces, put plastic down, put a radon system in, and then I go in after I buy the property and I pour concrete in the crawl space floor just to get rid of the bugs, the dirt, the smell, the mold, the rats, whatever. I just like a concrete crawl space underneath my house. So the houses that are built on crawl spaces, that's the first thing I do. But I have a crew here that does it like $1,700 our costs are.
Oh, that's not bad at all.
Yeah. I mean, I buy the concrete, but I mean they go in and they just make it perfectly level, like laser level, all smooth, pop back out, hands and knees. And I just think I don't like dirt crawl spaces.
Yeah, I get that too. I don't like that either. I like them when they're finished up with concrete, and you just level them out and you just pump the concrete in, right? You just pump it in and then just skim it out. And
right through the house, we lay plastic on the rug and we take the pump hose right through, right down into the crawl space. Shh.
Yep. Yeah, that makes sense, man. Yeah, absolutely. And that's a good way to do it.
As long as ice doesn't arrest my guys coming out of the crawl space hole. The next one. I don't know what their current visa status is. I don't ask.
Yeah. I get you on that one. Yeah. So, all right, man. So you got invested in real estate, and for like a home inspection owner who's wanting to diversify, what are you seeing with that in that space? Do you pay attention to that much?
You'd be better off. Let's say you're a one-man operation, home inspector. We could take every scenario if you want. Let's say you're a one-man operation. You'd be better off to try to build it to a multi-inspector firm for 1 year than sell it to your employees.
Yeah.
And carry the note. And you could write a note that is a percentage of gross revenue they're doing. Mm-hmm. This way, when we're having a slow month, they don't feel like they have to give you a whole big fat check. They give you a smaller check. And when they're having a big month, they give you a bigger check. But what really is the big advantage of that is, other than providing financing, which means you can charge more for a company. Anytime you provide financing, you can charge more. Ask any car dealer. Yeah. But the big advantage is that you're incentivized to keep helping them for the 3 years or whatever that they financed it for, 5 or whatever. You want them to succeed so that you get your money. So that means you're going to feather them into the business smoother. You're going to help them. They can call you and you can jump back in and out. You almost like you haven't left fully from outside looking in. You don't rattle all your real estate agents who are giving you a lot of work. It's the least physical business, a management business. So you're managing your teams of inspectors, you're managing your client, you're managing the building manager and the tenants or whatever, the project, the scope of work, the building itself. So it really becomes a management project. And the way I built the CCPIA, which is the Certified Commercial Property Inspectors Association, with a lot of Maggie's help. Maggie mostly did most of it, I would say. The executive director of CCPIA is, she and I pretend that we literally have a blindfold on our eyes. And how could we run a commercial inspection company with a blindfold? What tools do we need to be able to do that? In other words, try to make it such a management company that if you were handicapped, blind perhaps, or in a wheelchair, you could still manage your commercial property inspection company. If we can get CCPIA to provide that many business success tools, and aim towards that direction as our goal, then as home inspectors want to advance up towards commercial, they advance out of doing something physical and becoming essentially the operator of a management company. It manages commercial home inspections. Commercial property inspections.
Okay.
So that's what I would do in retirement. And that's the sort of the 2-3 step, going from a single operator to a multi-inspector firm, selling it and becoming a commercial property inspector. And then, there's a real joy in never saying the word hundreds again. I only say thousands. So,
right.
We call that going from hundreds to thousands in the commercial property inspection world. There are 2 types of commercial property inspectors: those who are running their home inspection business and sort of dabbling in commercial, right? Mm-hmm. And then there's those that got that $15,000 check on a commercial inspection project.
Yep.
And they said, I'm not doing hundreds again. In fact, we have a joke. You ever see like this Dave Ramsey thing where he says, I'm debt free or something like that?
Yep.
Yeah. Well, we say, I'm never saying the word hundreds again. You say it, I'll say it once, we'll say it together, and then we'll never say it again. From then on, it's only thousands.
Yeah, for sure. Like we have a couple of guys that do nothing but commercial now. And I'm telling you, it's where it's at. I 100% agree. If I could never do a house again, I wouldn't.
Yeah. I just released it Friday, a free tool. I know build these online business success tools for, I worked with the SBA on creating a business plan that, meets all the criteria, but also is in the format that they want it in. And so you go to my site and you enter a bunch of information. I'll just keep breaking it down. I ask you a bunch of questions. Mm-hmm. You answer them all. At the end, you push a green button. Now comes a 25-page SBA compliant business plan to get a loan to transition from home inspections to commercial inspections. They really like giving loans to people who are already in business.
Yep.
You're already in home inspection business. It's very easy to get an SBA loan, but there's one little juggernaut that's a little bit tough, and that's the producing an SBA compliant business plan to do that. That's custom to you. Has all their criteria and in their format. And with one button now, you can do that. You push a green button and it comes out after you answer a bunch of some questions I ask you.
Where do I do this? I love this.
Well, at InterNACHI, I know what it is. The link, I made the link easy at InterNACHI. It's nachi.org/SBA.
Okay.
And, I ran it back through the Small Business Administration, make sure that if someone were to submit that business plan, that would suffice. And they're like rubber stamp. It's good to go. It's built exactly the way they want it. And that's always the hard part. Your business plan is actually your pitch to the bank to give you the money, right?
Right.
You already got something going for you. You're going into a similar business that's a different vertical market that's much more profitable with bigger numbers.
Yep.
And you're already in that industry as a home inspector. Like, it's a slam dunk. If you need a $50,000 loan to transition from home inspections to commercial, that association, that small business association was built for that. And Trump in his government slashing, he left SBA alone. He left all the funding there.
Yeah.
In May. So I watched that and I saw, so he wants Americans to expand their businesses.
Absolutely. Yeah. That's how, yeah.
This was being a business expansion for a very sound reasoning behind it with one push of a button, the perfect small business administration compliant business plan to do that. So that's just an example of another tool that I've built we built a lot of tools for commercial inspectors, to succeed. And I think that's the future for most veteran home inspectors that sort of want out. I think they should try to get in because they can still do this from a chair. They can take the jobs they want. You're not going to get 10 jobs a week. You're going to get 2 a month. And those are high paying jobs.
Man, this has been really, really good. A lot of great nuggets in here that I think a lot of inspection companies could take and
when does it go on air? I mean, when do you put this up?
So as it sits right now, we're recording on the first week of October, 2025. This will drop before the end of the year, normally within 30 to 45 days. Okay. I have a team on the back end that helps on the production side. And right. So, so they will be doing the editing and then, the dropping of it. Within 30 to 45 days, this should be live out in the world, and it's on all the channels. So whether it's Spotify or Apple and it's audio and video, depending on what platform you're on. We have a YouTube channel. All that stuff is going right now. And so
I'm a guest at IEB in the spring. I guess it's in March.
Yeah. Are you going to be a speaker at the Unite conference? Yeah, First me too, actually. I'm one of the speakers too. So
I'll see you on stage.
That sounds great. I'll see you then, my friend.
See everybody at IEB.
That's right. IB and Nip, all that contact info is there, man. Nick, thanks for taking the time. I really appreciate it.
Thank you, guys.